For today's part of my Best of 2025 series, we go to RPGs. And as someone who doesn't play a lot of RPGs, man, I played a whole lot of RPGs for 2025. But it was a fantastic year for turn-based attacking, spells, and all the matters of gaining experience and leveling up. Before we begin the list proper, there are two games I want to give a shout out to. We didn't really get a chance to go all the way through them. The first one goes to Omega 6. This is a JRPG by I believe the artists of the F-Zero games back in the days. And it did come out in 2025, but we did not get a chance to play it. But everyone that I've been hearing thoughts from have been describing it as more of a hidden gem. And we're going to try to get to it at some point in 2026. The other game is Muffles Like Sentence. This was a very interesting, very original RPG we played, involving you stealing the faces of other people in order to use their powers. The reason why it's not making it to the list is that it's being released episodically, with their next episode coming out, I believe, in the first or second quarter of 2026. We played through the first, I think, 3 episodes of the game, and when it does finally get finished, we'll probably do a full playthrough of the entire game. Phenomenal RPG. If you haven't played or heard of it, you definitely want to play it. My first pick is one that I checked out through the IGF judging, and that goes to Sultan's Game. This is kind of modeled in a similar style of the board game adventure of something like a Cultist Simulator and a few other games. But your mission is to try and win your freedom from a Sultan who is controlling everything. And to do so, you must play their game, using people, places, and any objects and wealth you have as resources. Each time you play, you'll be given different goals, and how you achieve those goals is going to be based on your morality and what you have access to. Do you try and murder your best friend? Do you try and take that really difficult battle, even though it may kill you or kill someone you love? It is entirely up to you. And this is one of those games that there is a lot going on under the surface in terms of how the story can play out, what kind of objectives you're going to get, and it doesn't quite hit kind of like the roguelike aspects. It's more story driven, but it's a very original and very interesting game. And certainly one that you should definitely check out if anything that I said sounds interesting to you. Our next one goes to a game that has been in development for a long time, was finally released, and that goes to The Use of Life. This is a kind of visual novel meets very reflex-driven JRPG combat, as you play a rabbit folk who survived a brutal attack on their village, and now we are so angry we cannot be killed. Although we're going to probably die several times playing through the game. It's a very interesting mix of systems, as you have the RNG of how events can play out. Combat is turn-based, but you have to input action commands in order to properly defend. And as a very important point, do not try to play this game on hard on your first go-through, as this is very hard to play. But it is a great game that kind of embodies a lot of what we like about RPG design. That features a lot of interesting systems, a lot of great choices, and it's a game you can certainly play through different ways each time you go through it. So another recommendation that if you haven't heard of this one, that you should certainly play. My next pick is kind of a half recommendation, but it gets on the list for being so weird and original, and that goes to Stray Children. This is a game where you are trapped in a world where all the adults have been turned to monsters. Why are you here? Why are they trying to kill you? And just what the heck is going to happen next? It is heavily and kind of inspired by the layers of, say, Undertale, and features a really great art style. What makes it very much a half recommendation is it is such a very kind of explicitly designed game. It is one of those titles where there's no room for different builds, there's no room for different strategies or ways of playing it. It is a game that demands you to play it one specific way, and if you like that way, you're going to go all the way through it. If you don't like that way, you're going to probably stop within 20 minutes. It is one of those games that, again, that it's very hard to put into words why it works and why it doesn't work. And I would at least give this one a try, and see if it works for you, because if it does, you're going to find one of the more imaginative and one of the more interesting RPGs released in 2025, and if it doesn't, then it's going to be a very quick kind of pull the ripcord moment for you. Speaking of kind of the Undertale style and motif, my next pick goes to Dreamed Away. This one makes use of the kind of bullet hell dodging format of Undertale, but for a little bit less disturbingly violent tale. As you wake up in a strange dreamland, you have no idea why you are there, and basically death is chasing after you. It's a very interesting story, and one that I'm sure is going to end very interestingly when you get through it. The combat system here is pretty straightforward. You attack, and then you must survive a kind of bullet hell or just bullet pattern based attack. Maybe it's a rhythm game, maybe it's just a lot of bullets and other things coming after you. This one doesn't quite go like out of left field in terms of its mechanics or story, but it's still just a very solid game that kind of checks off all the boxes of what you may be looking for in an RPG. So if you're looking for a very heartwarming and maybe disturbing tale, I would give this one a try and see if it works for you. My next two picks are for some good old school RPG goodness in two very different directions. The first one is Crescent Tower. This is the wizardry dungeon crawling style where you must build your party, explore a place for loot, treasure, avoiding traps, death, lots and lots of nasty status ailments, while you try to make every little inch and centimeter count for progress and upgrades. This is old school, where one status ailment can completely ruin your party. Items can be cursed that you'll need to spend money to remove. This is a game that does not hold your hand, but you are going to fight tooth and nail to climb this tower. This is not going to be for someone who is brand new to dungeon crawling by any extent. But if you're someone who likes wizardry and the whole challenge of, again, every step mattering to get through this dungeon, then definitely give this one a play. For my next pick, we go to the other side of classic JRPG design with Quartet. You are going to build your party from 4 very different characters, each having their own individualized story, before teaming up to, of course, save the world from evil, doing all the old school charm, wandering around maps, buying items, fighting enemies who are several pixel sizes larger than you are, in classic turn-based fashion. The game does a good job of kind of marrying old school design with a little bit more modern creature comforts. You have enemies that can show up on the field, which you can of course dodge at your leisure. There's no just take 5 steps random encounter. You have to pay attention to enemy strengths and weaknesses, and each character has access to their own skills, abilities, gear, and all that great stuff. This one doesn't quite rock the boat in terms of brand new or doing anything different in terms of its JRPG design, but that's not what this game is meant to be. So if you are in a mood for some good old-fashioned JRPGing to save the world from evil, then definitely give this one a play. For my last pick for favorite RPG of 2025, it goes to Look Outside. Another game that managed to come out like seemingly nowhere to blow up, and has become yet another poster child of amazing RPG design and the just impressiveness you can get out of an indie developer and studio. I played the Game Jam build of this one. I think this was either late 2024 or early 2025. I knew it was going to do very well, and it certainly exceeded that. It has kind of entered that same kind of area as Undertale, that you have people not only loving the game for its gameplay, but the writing, the characterizations, and of course all the amazingly disturbing art that goes in it. It has been expanded many times over 2025, with more modes, more stories, more characters. Who knows what else is going to be coming? And probably the most hilarious part of this whole story is that this was the kind of break game the developers decided to do while they're working on their main game. And it once again shows just how much you can get out of RPG design. And that you can, of course, have a game that only focuses on gameplay. You have a game that only focuses on story. but if you can get them both in sync, you can have a title that really punches way above its weight class, and it's going to be one that's going to be remembered for a very long time. And I do wonder, like, where this game is going to sit in kind of like the pantheon of amazing indie RPGs in the next few years. If you are someone who has somehow missed hearing anything about this game, and you don't mind some very disturbing art, especially with some of those enemy designs, then this is a very easy recommendation, and I am definitely going to be interested to see the developer's main game when it is released. To wrap up our video for today, 2025 was a really standout year for RPGs of all shapes, sizes, and roles to play. And it does demonstrate again how much variety there still is in the genre. Do you go small scale, large scale, episodic? Do you do something grand like Clair Obscur? Go for more wholesome slice of life, disturbing horror, and many other examples of it. For developers watching, this is a great time to study the variety of games that we talked about and some of the ones that we missed, in terms of how you can take this kind of design in many different ways. That just because it is turn-based and you have party over here fighting party over there, doesn't mean there are ways you can add more to it, change things around, make things easier, harder, more interesting, you name it. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what other ideas we will see in 2026. Particularly, what will be the super scale, big, like, mainstream one? 2025 was Clair Obscur, 2024 was Metaphor. What will be in 2026? Do any of you have any ideas? Let me know down in the comments. And what are some of your favorite RPGs that we talked about that we didn't mention, and etc, etc. With that, we only have one more part left before we get to Best of Show. But don't worry, because once this is over, I gotta get back to reviewing all the indie games we missed at the end of 2025 into 2026. And as I'm recording this in the middle of February, we have our first Next Fest of 2026 to get to. So there will be a whole lot of games to be talking about in the coming weeks. Thanks for watching. See everyone tomorrow for kind of the penultimate part, and have a great rest of your night. Thanks for watching, and a special thank you to our Patreon supporters. If you enjoyed the video, do the YouTubing stuff, be sure to visit our Discord and Patreon, and you're interested in more of my thoughts on design, check out my game design books.